Welcome to Pop Flashback. I'm Rick Smalls.
And I'm Tina Boucher.
Today we're taking a look back. Gosh, 60 years to the release of Mary Poppins in 1964.
60 years! It's hard to believe, an absolute classic, but, getting it made was, well, it was a journey.
Definitely wasn't straightforward, was it?
Yeah.
The author, P.L. Travers, she wasn't keen initially.
Not at all. She was quite resistant, really worried Disney would romanticize it too much.
Like she felt happened with Pinocchio or Bambi.
Exactly. She wasn't a fan of the talking animals either, felt it kind of deflated human values, was her thinking.
But Walt Disney, he just wouldn't give up. Yeah. Almost 2 decades trying to get the rights.
20 years. He finally flew out to see her in 1959 and got, well, partial permission.
And she drove a hard bargain, sounds like.
Oh, she did. Unprecedented concessions for the time. Story outline approval, consulting on casting. She wanted an all-British cast.
Right, I remember hearing that.
And a serious financial deal. $100,000 advance plus 5% of the gross.
Wow. That must have paid off handsomely when the film became such a hit.
Made her a millionaire. Absolutely.
So the basic story, for anyone needing a quick refresher, Mary Poppins, the magical nanny, arrives on the East Wind at Cherry Tree Lane.
To look after the Banks children, Jane and Michael. The books were quite episodic, weren't they? Like standalone adventures in each chapter.
Yeah, which makes turning it into a single movie quite a challenge.
Totally. And the production itself was just this marvel of creativity. They built these huge, lavish sets on 4 sound stages.
The Cherry Tree Lane set sounds incredible. Hand-mounted cherry blossoms from France and Portugal.
And a massive 360-degree painting, a cyclorama, for the London skyline backdrop. Amazing detail.
You had real artists involved.
Yeah.
Carol Clark, William Tuntkin on art direction, Emil Coury, Hal Gausman for set decoration.
And Tony Walton on costumes. He was actually Julie Andrews' husband then.
Oh, right. And even Mary's hat, the little details Matt 8 cherries on it.
It's those touches. And then, of course, the big one, mixing live action and animation.
Revolutionary stuff for 1964. Got them the Oscar for special visual effects.
Deservedly so. They used this thing called the sodium vapor process.
Ah, yes. Tell us about that. Wasn't it quite unique?
Very. It used a special light and a prism designed by Petra Vlahos. Apparently only 3 prisms were ever made, and they're lost now.
Wow. And that let them combine actors with animation without the usual blue screen issues.
Exactly. Any color costumes, no blue spill or outlines. Really clever. Plus, early animatronics, like the robin in A Spoonful of Sugar.
Julie Andrews whistled for it, didn't she?
She did. And wire work for flying, though apparently that wasn't always smooth sailing. Julie Andrews had a bit of a scare once.
Oh, dear. Dropped unexpectedly.
Yikes. Yeah. And Peter Allenshaw painted over 100 matte paintings for those beautiful backgrounds, just layers upon layers of artistry.
Let's pause here for a quick word from our sponsor, Hangry.com. We'll be right back to talk about the music and casting of Mary Poppins. Hangry.
Hangry. Totally. And we're looking at their online shop today, and it's pretty wild. Got like everything you could think of, from t-shirts and sweatshirts to candles and stickers, and they've got all this stuff with this really fun food-themed kind of spin on it.
Yeah.
It's interesting how they've taken what's a pretty negative emotion and spun it to be something.
To be something good.
Yeah, like something relatable and fun.
And we're back on Pop Flashback talking Mary Poppins. Before the break, we touched on the effects, but the music. You can't talk Poppins without the music.
Oh, absolutely not. The Sherman brothers, Richard and Robert, they wrote something like 34 songs over 2.5 years.
Incredible output. Inspired by vaudeville.
Mm-hmm. And Walt Disney's personal favorite, Feed the Birds.
That's such a lovely, poignant song. And apparently even P.L. Travers, who initially didn't want any music.
She actually liked Feed the Birds. It resonated with him.
Amazing. And the casting was just perfect, wasn't it? Julie Andrews, first film role, wins Best Actress. Disney saw Andrews in Camelot on stage and decided to wait for her even through her pregnancy.
That's commitment. And then Dick Van Dyke as Bert and Mr. Doff Sr., of course.
The infamous Cockney accent.
Huh. Yes, maybe not his strongest point, but his energy as Bert, the narrator, breaking the fourth wall. It's wonderful. He has his own magic.
He really does tie it all together. And Glynis Johns as Mrs. Banks.
The suffragette. She apparently wasn't sold until they wrote Sister Suffragette just for her.
That song really defines her character. And David Tomlinson as the very proper Mr. Banks.
Disney picked him after seeing some of his British films. Perfect casting.
And the kids, Karen Dautrice and Matthew Garber, they were great.
They'd they'd been in another Disney film together before. Very sad that Matthew Garber passed away so young, only 21.
So tragic. And we can't forget Ed Wynn as Uncle Albert.
Floating up with laughter. Such a fun part.
So the film comes out, huge premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater, August '64. A massive deal for Disney.
Biggest premiere since Snow White. Richard Sherman said the 5-minute standing ovation was one of the most amazing moments of his life.
And it swept up at the Oscars. 13 nominations, 5 wins, actress, editing, score, song, special effects, plus Grammys.
A huge success by any measure, although P.L. Travers herself, despite saying positive things publicly.
Privately, she wasn't entirely happy.
No. She felt it was too glossy, missed the depth of her books. Called it spectacular, colorful, gorgeous, but all wrapped around mediocrity of thought. Ouch.
That's quite the critique.
Yeah.
And that whole complicated relationship was explored later in the film Saving Mr. Banks, wasn't it?
Exactly. Fascinating story behind the story.
So, 60 years on, Mary Poppins is still beloved. That mix of technical magic, unforgettable songs, and a genuinely heartwarming story.
Yeah.
It just works.
It really does. That idea of someone magical coming into a family and just shaking things up for the better, it's timeless.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder about all that work behind the scenes. Thinking about the groundbreaking effects, the music writing process, the set design. What aspect of the making of Mary Poppins do you find most surprising or impressive after all this time?
That's a great question for our listeners.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
We'd love to hear them.
Thanks for listening to Pop Flashback. Remember to like and subscribe so you can get our next episode.
Catch you next time.